Hello everybody and welcome back to our channel. Today we'll be reviewing the Lounge wall system collection. I don't even define it as a wall system collection because actually it's a furniture system which allows you to create stunning wall systems, walk-in cabinets, entrance halls, anything. Let's see how rich it is. As we said multiple times, this is a review of this very specific composition. Here we are in our lounge in our Champs. It's a French town right south of Geneva. And this composition here is 6 meters and 71 by 2 meters and 79. It is custom made by the centimeters. Here we custom made it for our location, for our lounge, but of course the same approach can be used in any home. Its depth is 40.4 centimeters. Even the depth is customizable, but normally you keep the depth as it is because it works well for example, these sort of applications as a wall system. The basic concept of this collection is that it is built like a high-end closet and it appears like a custom boiserie. And with this sort of approach, you create this stunning composition. Let's review its details, starting from the first column at the extreme left. Actually, here we have the first column, but we can discuss this first section, which is made by the central bookshelf and the two columns. And this is the approach. We have doors which are wider than the column that they close, okay? And this allows doors to come out from the structure, and this has two objectives. First of all, it's very convenient to open and close it, and it actually hides the LED lighting, okay, which is very discreet because it's very thin and points toward the back, but still it's always better to hide the source of the light and enjoy the lighting itself. Here we have this boiserie panel and the fixed shelves. They are 5 centimeters. They are in wood in this case. You can have them in all sorts of materials, both the shelves and the panel. And quite often with this sort of panels we use ceramics, okay? They might be matte ceramics or glossy ceramics. Here we chose to have completely in wood, okay? We didn't want to add yet another material. And in this situation we get to talk about how it is built, because this collection, both the structures and the doors are all hollow panels. They are called tamburato. So it means there's a solid wood perimeter all around, and then you have an honeycomb structure in the inside, and then it's closed like sandwich, like a sandwich on both sides, and this allows for a lightweight. So it means that I have a huge door like this. I can tell you, well, it has about 5 inches, and it's very, very light when you open and close it, and it's something that I love. We move on to the central element, where I have the TV section. It's actually an element which goes from here to here, okay? You have multiple dimensions available, and all sorts of options. You can either have or not have this open compartment down below. This open compartment, you can add an electrical fireplace. You can either add lighting or not. These parts, you cannot open them. They are structural, okay? Then you have these beautiful frames, which they appear to be very thin on the front, but just because there's an angled perimeter on all sides, because the structure is, I think it's 22 millimeters of this frame. This is a metal lacquer finish, which is quite peculiar. You cannot have it on every item of the collection, but it's a nice start, and I would not suggest even a full wall like this with this sort of strong finish, but it's nice to have a neutral finish as an overall main finish and a more striking, peculiar one on details, okay? Well, normally with this sort of composition, you never rest your TV on the furniture itself. It's always attached onto the wall, it might be, or in this case, onto a panel, okay? And here we see the upper part. It's all storage. The inner structure, well, it can be lacquered, but it's normally kept with a laminate finish. There are the high-end laminate finishes, so they appear realistic both to the looks and both to the touch. But even if it's a high-end hollow honeycomb panel, even the inside. The surface of these panels is actually built with a cheaper material than real wood or lacquer, because it doesn't make sense to have real wood on such a huge surface for the inside. Well, at least this is my opinion. If you have a different opinion, write it in the comments. Okay, we move on to a special element which gets some people excited, because you get wines and spirits inside. Okay, in the other video we shot about the lounge collection. I think we have the bigger version, which is 120 and something. This is 95, and but still it appears striking. Well, of course I have storage above. I have these tilted shelves in the lower part. I have this hidden drawer. Okay, I might have all my accessories to open and serve. I have this rack for glasses. Okay, beautiful LED lighting. What is very interesting here, well, first we were seeing the LED lighting in relation to the bookshelf. Here we see it in relation to the hinges, and this is a very nice touch. Sometimes you get these LED lights behind the hinge, while here it is so thin that it was possible to place it between the hinge and the outer edge, and it creates a very, very nice effect. Also because when I'm standing in the middle here like this, even here I don't see the LED itself and just perceive its beautiful lighting, which in this case is reflected onto the mirror back panel. So, well, even if you don't drink wine, this is a nice piece to have in your wall system. Here we have yet another column with an open compartment, just like the one below the telly. Here it's used for decoration, depending on the height. Here we chose that this compartment would have the same height of the TV frame, okay? And depending on the object I might want to place, I can choose either to have or not have a glass shelf in the middle. And here we see a tiny, but effective, this sort of a decorative approach, a tiny spotlight, okay? And we see here that we have storage both underneath and above. Well, I'd like to point out, well, I've said in multiple videos, I'm not a lover of push-pull systems. Well, of course, handles or grips are always more convenient, but this is the situation. When we said at the beginning of the video that the aim of such a system is to have a closet system to appear, to look as a boiserie, to be used as a wall system. Well, you know, if you placed handles or grip, you would kind of lose the boiserie, very clean effect, and so it would kind of lose its meaning. So it's true that grips and handles are more practical, but it's something that I do suggest it more for kitchens, bathroom furniture, even closets, while in a situation like this, these sort of doors, it's not, you don't place inside these sort of doors stuff that you use multiple times a day. And so, well, in this situation, I would get push-pulls as well. And we get to the phylum column. Well, this is less exciting because it's just storage. But it gives you an idea of how effective such a system it is in terms of storage. Then you see what I meant by the fact that it's built like a closet. In a video that we filmed previously, we described in detail the multiple options that we have for the panels, okay, both on wooden surfaces or on lacquered surfaces. Here we have the 80-40 front, which appears to be as a random scheme. It is not random, but I'll describe what I mean. For example, here we see, well, basically it's a flat panel which is carved, okay, by a few millimeters. And here we have 8 centimeters, 1, this is 4, 2, 3, 1, 5, 2, 1, 1, 6, and so on. And so when you look at the whole surface, it is not random, as I said, but it appears to be random, and it creates a stunning look. Then, of course, it's a matter of taste. One could prefer a more regular progression, and one could prefer a more varied progression. What's your take? Write it in the comments. One last note about the finishes of this composition. We said that we have oak with the Venge color here. We have lino, lacquered as the main color, and this metal lacquer is bronze. It does actually look a bit more grayish than bronze, but it depends on the lighting, and this is something you must consider with this sort of texture finishes. They much vary based on the lighting that you have in your room. So we've come to the end of today's product review about the lounge furniture system for these, let me repeat it, these wall systems built just like a closet, but they do look like a boiserie. I hope that you liked it just as I do, and see you next time.